I welcome you all to the afternoon session of the Thyagaraja and Purandara Daasa Aradhana 2021. Thank you for being here. And we have with us Savitri Mahalingam, the Chief Lifetime Trustee of the organization for the years 2020 and 2021 of both ICC and SGHTU. We are so happy to have you here with us. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and then so that everybody can know how the whole festival and other events are conducted in the ICC. So can you give us a little bit of insight into the organizational structure and the inner workings of ICC and the SGHTU?
Hello everybody, and wishing a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there today. And it was a great occasion to participate today on this occasion of Mother's Day. Sri Ganesha Hindu Temple is the primary organization or the parent organization, and the India Cultural Center was envisioned as a subsidiary organization where it would sponsor the Indian culture and the heritage. As you know, India is rich in culture and heritage. So we wanted to find a venue. The forefathers, the founding fathers of the organization, wanted to build an organization where we can establish this culture and heritage in the state of Utah and expose our younger generation, because we're so far away from home, to this new, the culture that we all keep in our hearts. We all probably grew up in India, so the second generation that's here can experience, and as well, we can expose the community around us, the Utah Valley community members around us, an exposure to the Indian culture and the rich heritage of where we belong. India Cultural Center also is a very, very close arm of the Sri Ganesha Temple, because, you know, when you look at in India, when you look at our perspective, we look at everything. Religion and culture are also intertwined in how we live in our culture. So, you know, people who want to explore the religion can still go and pray at the Ganesha Hindu Temple. It gives them the opportunity. But the India Cultural Center brings a lot more depth, where it brings the culture from all of these other regions of India. I would, you know, for example, the one I could think of is the Navratri event, where, you know, people know Navratri for the festivities that we associate Navratri with. The Garba dance, you know, or the Kali dance, which is celebrated in the West Bengal, are different art forms from the southern India as well. So what the India Cultural does is it brings in the members of it be the Gujarati community or the Marathi community or the Telugu community or the Tamil speaking or the Keralites from all regions of India into one place where they can experience and expose their culture to the next generation.
That's so great. I mean, that's so great to know. Like Savitri mentioned, like India is like so rich in culture, tradition. There are so many art forms and everything. So it's so good that we have some place where we can just get together and celebrate that culture. So can you please throw some light for us on the history of the temple, the ICC, and the organization? So the temple was founded in 1995 as it was a vision for them to bring the idol of Ganesha to Utah. And finally, in the temple had the first Kumbhabhishekam in 2003. After it took a long time for us to get from the vision to the place we actually have today. So then, it's actually this year, like the 25th year of bringing the Ganesha idol in Utah. So we celebrated that a little bit last year. Due to COVID, our celebrations have been very curtailed, you know, keeping in respect, you know, what the city guidelines were. So it's been 25 years of Sri Ganesha Hindu Temple being part of the footprint of the South Jordan Valley and the Utah community. As the community has grown, the Ganesha Hindu Temple provides a place for anyone coming in from India. I was not part of the founding group, but, you know, as a member of the temple, and, you know, I found
the steep history. And when I came to Utah, and I moved to Utah in 2011, I felt so welcome, and I could find a network to connect.
Right.
So this provides a very great network for people to connect and to understand, and a place for us to pray and feel at home too. This community has grown from maybe 250 families that knew each other to now we have about 8,000 families
Right.
living in the state of Utah. So with the Ganesha temple, then the founding father said, well, not everybody wants to be religious, that's fine. That's completely fine. But the cultural aspect of India is again, like we said, is great. And so we wanted to have the India Cultural Center. So we wanted a place to display our culture and our art form. We wanted to give a venue for our people to celebrate the occasions in their lives. It could be a wedding, it could be a birthday, it could be anything that they want to do. They have a place in the India Cultural Center to celebrate, to come and mingle and explore the various art forms. Like today, we use this India Cultural Center as a venue to do this Thyagaraja and Purandara Daasa Aradhana. Basically, we're celebrating these people, the forefathers that brought music to India, and today the local people that live here, the local artists, gathered and paid a tribute
Right.
to these fathers on Mother's Day.
Right.
How great is that?
Yeah, true.
So it provides us with our own space to do that.
Right.
So in 2010, all of this vision of having a cultural center got realized, and so this whole building was built. And the building sits in the beautiful South Jordan area, overlooking the
Mountains, yeah.
facing the mountains in the east. So it's pretty calm, and it has a kitchen for people who want to use it, cater it. So this India Cultural Center is this wonderful venue for our members to explore our culture and art, and also some of the things that we've done is not just culture. In India, we love badminton and
true.
table tennis, so the Cultural Center hosts games like that.
That's cool.
We have classrooms for children to do, so instead of, them trying to figure out where to do, so in 2015, the Sri Ganesha Hindu Temple and India Cultural Center asked the community members and raised about $2 million from our community members and corporate donors to build multiple classrooms. So there are about 6 classrooms where people come in, and the children from various communities come in. There could be a Telugu Badi class, there's a Kannada class, there's a Malayalam class, there's a Tamil class. So all of this is done within our campus. A safe environment, and an environment where our children can still meet each other, and get enriched in our culture.
That's so cool to know. I mean, I didn't know that it was started in 1995, so that's some new information. So that's really cool, like all the information that you shared with us. Thank you. So what do you think the community should expect to see in the near term, and where do you see this place in the distant horizon, like with everything going on? And so what's your plan?
So the vision is to keep expanding the campus as the community's need keep increasing. I'm very happy to announce, and I'm pretty sure most of you have already heard, land is becoming scarce in South Jordan area. We had an opportunity to buy the land as you come into the temple, both on the left side and the right side. As you enter our complex, there is lands. So one is 2.92 acres, the other is about 1 acre. So what we've done is as a first step for expansion, keeping in mind the current conditions, we were able to acquire both these lands for a future vision of the organization, an expanded cultural center. We've been requested by people like, hey, we would need a venue for a dance, or additional rental space when there's 2 weddings going on, or something like that, right? So we are looking forward to going to a vision of where we can expand the footprint. Now we have got the land to go ahead and move and expand and build it out. It might take a little bit longer because, again, we have to be very conscientious of the time that we are in.
Right.
We don't want to do a big construction activity at this time when things are, not doing well because of the COVID. I hate saying that, but we have to keep asking our donors for the funding. I'm looking forward for the Indian community's support, continued support of the temple and the India Cultural Center, the various regional organizations that are in the valley that are always involved in supporting the India Cultural Center. Their continued support to enhance our vision of building out the India Cultural Center and the Sri Ganesha Hindu Temple so that we can host more events, support more families,
Right.
and give them a great place to do great events
Right.
in their lives.
So that they can experience much more good events and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Yeah. As she rightly pointed out, we definitely need your support and everything going forward so that we can have a very good place to enrich the culture, nourish it and everything so that the next generation can learn about India more and everything. So thank you so much for your time, for joining us and sharing this information with us. Thank you, and all the best for the future plans.
You're welcome. And I would like to invite at this opportunity, thank you for asking me, as I was somebody who came in here and moved into the valley and got into the organization and working with the organization, I would like to see our younger generation,
Right.
the second generation that's born in the US and the new generation that's coming into Utah,
Right.
to adapt to the organization, look into taking leadership roles,
Right.
to enhance the vision of the organization. Sometimes we are probably thinking a little bit different, so these younger kids that grew up here have much more experience and exposure to
Right.
the outside world, and they need to promote as well. So we would like to see them step in and come forward and take on a much more robust role in the organization.
Yeah, that's so encouraging and everything. Yeah, thank you so much again. Yeah,
You're welcome. Thank you, Satish, for hosting the event.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank the India Cultural Center and the Cultural Committee of the Ganesha Hindu Temple for hosting this event today.
thank you. Thank you so much. So welcome again to the afternoon session. So we just we had Savitri Mahalingam as our guest here. She had some lovely words for us. So this is what we have planned for you in the afternoon. So there would be individual and group recitals, more music, more Carnatic music, and I'm also going to give you a bit of insight into what is Carnatic music, what is a ragam, and many more aspects of Carnatic music from a layman's perspective so that you can understand how to enjoy a concert. Some people might have the question, oh, we listen to movie songs and film songs. Does that have a ragam? So what is it all about? So I'm going to give you more questions and I'm going to answer them. And I also have a surprise. I have a quiz for you. So I'm going to ask some questions. And if you just email the response to us, and the person who responds, the maximum number of correct responses is going to get a prize. So yeah, so we'll be starting the afternoon session. And thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Satish.
So we'll be starting the afternoon session of the Aradhana, and we will all enjoy so many individual and group recitals. So if you read the history of Carnatic music, the main two instruments used at very old times were the yar or the flute, and the kuril and the flute, and yar the harp instrument similar to veena. And from ancient times there were so many vainikas or people who play the veena. And even in the history of music, they say there were so many Gandharvas who used to sing and then play the veena. So what is more appropriate than starting the afternoon session with a veena recital? So we have here Vaishnavi K. Pai for us playing the veena. She'll be playing Vakratunda and Guru Brahma, and then Kamalasana Vantite Notuswaram by Muthuswami Dikshitar. Thank you.
जगदाधार कमले विमले गुरुगुह जननी कमला पतिनुत हृदये माई कमला शशि विजय वदने कमलेन्दरानि वाग्देवी श्री गौरी पूजित हृदयानन्द कमलाक्षि पाहि कामाक्षि कामेश्वर वरसति कल्याणि कामेश्वर वरसति कल्याणि सा प ग म प म ग रि स स स सा प ग म प म ग रि स स स
Thanks a lot, Vaishnavi, for that soothing performance. So it was a great start to the Aradhana. We had a wonderful Veena performance. Like I said, Veena was one of the very ancient instruments that was used in Carnatic classical music. So just to give a bit more information about the instrument Veena itself, so the modern day Veena that we see here on stage is called the Raghunatha Veena, and it was introduced by Raghunatha Nayaka when he was one of the rulers, the Nayak rulers in Tanjore. So this type of Veena, if you notice, it has a primary resonator and a secondary resonator, and sound is made when air flows through and there is a vibration in the air, right? So that is how sound energy is made. So there is a, like I said, this resonates, the primary resonator resonates, and we have strings where a person who's playing the Veena applies certain pressure and through which sound is produced. So how beautiful that instrument, and how nice to hear that sound of the Veena. And more information on that. So if you notice a Veena, the end part of the Veena is called a yar, where the strings are attached. And traditional Veenas, the yar is pointed downwards, but the last composition that she played, that is called the Notuswaram, and that was composed by Muthuswami Dikshitar. And Dikshitar's Veena, actually the yar is pointed upwards. It is said that Dikshitar got the Veena from the holy river Ganga when he was deepened with disappointment of his guru's samadhi, and then he went on to pray with the Sri Vidya Upasana that his guru taught him, and then the legend goes on saying that then a beautiful Veena applied in the holy river Ganga. So that is more information on Ganga. And speaking of Notuswaram, Muthuswami Dikshitar composed this Notuswarams for his brother Balaswami Dikshitar, who was one of the pioneers to introduce violin into the Carnatic music. So if you read about the history, Dikshitar, the family of Dikshitar, right, Muthuswami's father Ramaswamy Dikshitar and his 3 sons moved to the Madras presidency, and there they were influenced a lot by the Irish tunes. So, and the Irish people also used violin as an instrument, and fascinated by seeing a violin, Muthuswami wanted his brother to try that, Baluswami Dikshitar, to get introduced to violin. And so what does he do? So he composes beautiful notuswaram or note swaras. And what Vaishnavi played for us was Kamalasana Vantite, one of the 34 notuswaras that we have in the Carnatic music system. So if you think about it, Carnatic music is so amalgamated with so many types of music flowing into it. So speaking of which, so I wanted to, in the last Aradhana, I had given you a bit of history of Carnatic music, saying Sangeeta Shastram and Sangeeta Puranam, I had given you a bit of history of Carnatic music, how it started, talking about Natya Shastra and everything. So this Aradhana, I am going to give you a different glimpse of Carnatic music. So I thought that what are the usual questions that people ask me? People who are new to Carnatic music, they need to know certain things, right? Like how can we start enjoying Carnatic music? Is it something new? We find it difficult or we find it a little new. So we need to know the basics. Can we get introduced to the basics of Carnatic music? So in this session, what I've arranged is a set of questions that you see, and I'm going to answer the question. The first question that I'm going to start with is the basics of Carnatic music, right? There are four main things that you need to know if you hear the word Carnatic music. And I'll let you know how the term Carnatic came and everything later as I speak. So there are four main things that you need to know about Carnatic music. One is called Ragam, Talam, Shruti and Layam. So those are the four main things to talk about in a Carnatic music setting. So what is a Ragam, right? So many people ask that the fundamental concept of Carnatic music lies in the concept of Ragam. And did you guys know that Ragam actually came from the word Rang or Rangam? Because in Sanskrit or Sanskrit, Rangam means color. And Ragam also means the same thing, color. Did you ever wonder that Ragam doesn't mean a tune? Ragam means, it's not even a melody. Ragam means color. And what does color mean in this context? Color means it's the emotional context. When you hear a certain tune or a ragam played in any instrument or a vocalist trying to expose the ragam, what does he or she does? They take phrases in the musical system and say that this is the ragam. So when they say, let's take a simple example, right? Let's take a ragam called Kalyani. So when a person sings the Ragam Kalyani, what they are trying to do is they are taking some phrases of Kalyani and then they are delivering it to you so that you get the effect of Kalyani. And Kalyani may invoke certain emotions. Some people might find it happy, some people might find it soothing. So there are many rasams, as I've told you, right? Bharata Muni mentions 9 rasams or Nava rasams. So many people listen to this music and react. And that is the color of the ragam. So some people say, oh, it's so little sad, pathos. Some people say it's uplifting, exhilarating, it's happy. So there are many moods that a ragam conveys. So that is a ragam. So I will talk more on it as we get time, as we go through more performances and everything. And so we got a glimpse of Veena. We started out with a lovely performance of the Carnatic music. Why don't we travel a bit and we get to hear some of the Hindustani music also? Because nature has gifted us with melody and talam and percussion and everything. So next we are going to listen. Now we have listened the rhythm. Now we are going to listen what is layam or the talam. So here we have Satvik Pai with tabla, and he has a wonderful set of things to present. And so Satvik will first present a Peshkar, which is a set of slow-paced compositions that follow the same general theme. He will then transition to Tisra, or in Carnatic music we call Trishram, where there will be a mix of the single speed and Tisra, that is, which is the 1.5 speed, ultimately leading to a climax phrase, which will consist of a short kaida, with a theme similar to the Peshkar. Then there is a transition to a kaida, which is set in Tishra Teen Tal, after which he will play a Rela in Teen Tal. I know this is all new, so some people can understand this, so music, you don't need to understand the intricacies people say, right? So you just enjoy. So consisting of variations and rearrangements of a 6-beat and 4-beat phrase. So you can closely watch the 6-beat and the 4-beat phrase. The last kaida he will play will be in Chaturashra Jati in Teen Tal. And he'll end the performance with a set of Tukadas, Farukabad, Tukadas and Chakradas compositions. So this is what he has for us. So why don't we go and enjoy the Hindustani flavor of music as well.
Tirita Katrita Takranta Krdana Krdati Gindara Tirita Tirita Dirgata Ginda Dirgata Ginda Dirgata Ginda Chakrata.
Thank you, Satvik. That was just an extraordinary performance. He did take us into a new world of talam and layam. So, coming back to the first question, right? So, what are the basics of Carnatic music? I was discussing what is a ragam. So, the main four terms that you need to understand when you need to hear the term Carnatic music is ragam, talam, shruti, and layam. So I was discussing what is a ragam, and I was telling you about the color or the emotion that a ragam brings. So most of you might wonder, right? Is ragam a tune? Like if some, so you when you were so young, and even the young kids, they learn nursery rhymes, and when they learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, they sing it in a certain fashion. So you might think even, does Twinkle Twinkle Little Star have a ragam? So what is a ragam, right? How does ragam come into Carnatic music? And how does it relate to Western music? So a ragam is nothing but an emotion generator. So once you hear a certain set of melodic phrases, some kind of emotion comes into your mind. And why does this emotion come into your mind? So in olden days, when music was not a standalone art, the only way in which everything was enacted was through a dance drama. So if somebody needs to tell you a story, they enact that on the stage with some kind of an action. There will be dialogue between people or a monologue. And there would be music acting as a vehicle for the whole setting, and there would be setting the drama, the stage would be arranged in a certain fashion. So if you think about it, music acts as a vehicle for the emotions on the stage, and that is how music was originated. So even in the Natya Shastram, when Bharata explains, Natyam doesn't mean dance alone. Natyam means dance drama, or an opera where people sing and act and tell a story. So that is how ragam also came into being. So the main purpose of a ragam is to evoke one or more emotions to the listener. So why do we say that this song is in a particular ragam, or this song is in a particular ragam, etc.? So what do we mean by that is that a ragam has a certain set of rules, right? Many of the concepts in this world have certain set of rules or a grammar to follow. the English that I'm speaking, or languages like Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, many of the languages that we have a certain set of grammar and a rule. So when people evolved and there was evolution of human civilization, if you think about it, there is a grammar and there is a certain set of rules that makes sense to your mind. Similarly, a ragam also has a certain set of grammar. The grammar means you are not permitted to sing certain phrases, or you can use only certain swaras or notes in nature. And what do I mean by notes? These are all musical tones that exist in a nature. So if you think about a keyboard and somebody is playing a keyboard, there are certain set of musical notes that you hear. And if you hear these musical notes in a combination, a melody is produced. And this melody, when it operates under a certain grammar, we call this a ragam. So what is a simple grammar, right? So we say that, so one of the ragam that comes to my mind when I talk about a happy mood is a ragam called Bilahari. So many of the kids who are exposed to Carnatic music might have learned the Swarajati Raravenu Gopapala. So it's a very beautiful Swarajati, and the mood that Bilahari creates is a happy mood, it's an uplifting mood. So like I said, every ragam has its own emotion, and that helps the dance drama take a different dimension. So that is the purpose of a raga. So Bilahari also has a certain set of grammar, right? So you can't deviate from the grammar or a confined set of Bilahari. So you may ask me, like, why is there so much rigidity, right? Why can't you just explore and improvise and everything? So people in the ancient times have given us a certain set of rules. Why? Because in certain way, if you sing it, happiness will be produced. In the case of Bilahari, happiness is the emotion. So that is how ragams and emotions are so intertwined. So the next time you listen to a ragam or somebody saying that I'm singing Kalyani ragam, think that Kalyani, they're singing Kalyani to make or stamp a certain emotion into your mind. So just listen to that and think what are the emotions that plays through your mind. So, going back to south of India, so from the Hindustani music, now let's listen to two set of wonderful geetams. So geetams are a concept of Carnatic music where it is called a simple song. A geetam in Sanskrit means a simple song. Geet in Hindi or Sanskrit means a simple song. And Sangeet means one who helps the song. So Sangeet means music and Geet means song. So there are two types of geetam in Carnatic music, Lakshya geetam and Lakshana geetam. Lakshya geetam is aimed towards something, towards a deity, meaning a Lakshya geetam on Lord Rama, on Lakshya geetam on Lord Shiva. But a Lakshana geetam means a Lakshanam, which is the grammar of the ragam. So which means in olden days, to define the grammar of the ragam, there were no written notes, right? We didn't have print media. So the only way in which we pass the structure of the ragam is through oral tradition. To express the oral tradition, we sing a two-line poem which is called a Lakshana Geetam. So what the next performance is going to be is a Lakshya Geetam. Lakshya Geetam is two simple Geetams that usually students of Carnatic music learn. So the next performance is by Srikar Srivalsan, and he is going to render two Geetams, Re Re Sri Ramachandra in Ragam Arabi, and Geetam 2 is Janaka Sudha in Ragam Saveri. So when I say two ragams, just listen to that and think of the emotions that you get when he renders it.
No Janakasuta kujakung kuma pankitala chanure re bali harure kagavahana kanchipuri nilaya Garirakshaka Bhuja Vikrama Kamitapala Dayaka Karivarada Kalyana Perandevi Mano Harure Karigirini Vasure Janakasuta Kuchakungkuma. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikar. That was a very nice performance. The two Geetams that you sang. So I was explaining, so Geetams are the basic compositions that a student learns, a music student learns. So after Geetams, then comes the stage of Varnams, and then after Varnams, the study becomes a little more complex, right? So with every learning that a student has to go through, in Carnatic music also, the third stage of compositions that are taught are called kritis or kirtanams. Kriti in Sanskrit means krit, which is written by somebody. So the word kriti comes from the term krit, to write. So it's a kriti or a creation. And even if you think about it, the English word creation comes from the word krit or kriti, which is to create something new. Because English being an Indo-Germanic language, it has many of the Sanskrit words English has many Sanskrit words. So next we have a kriti composed by Saint Thyagaraja, and it is Chalamelara in Raga Margahindolam. It is presented by Anusha Venkatraman, and Margahindolam is a very rare ragam, so it creates a unique mood. Like I said, every ragam creates some kind of an emotion, and Margahindolam creates a very unique mood. Let's enjoy Chalamelara, one of the kritis in Margahindolam.
Chalamelara Saketarama Chalamelara Saketarama Chalamelara Saketarama Chalamelara Saketarama Chalamelara Saketarama ಮೇಲ ರಾಸಕೇತರಾಮಾಚಲ ಮೇಲರ ವಲಚಿ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ ಗಮುತೋನು ವಲಚಿ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ ಗಮುತೋನು ವಲಚಿ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ ಗಮುತೋನು ನಿಲ್ನು ವಲಚಿ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ ಗಮುತೋನು ನಿಲ್ನು ವನಿಲ್ಚು ಚುಲ್ನ ಪೈ ಚಲ ಮೇಲ ರಾಸಕೇತರಾಮ ಚಲ ಮೇಲ ಇಂದು ಬೋದು ನೇಮಿಸೆಯುದುನು ಇಂದು ಬೋದು ನೇಮಿಸೆಯುದುನು ಏ ಚೋಡನಿ ಮೊರ ಬೇಟುದುನು ಇಂದು ಬೋದು ನೇಮಿಸೆಯುದುನು ಏ ಚೋಡನಿ ಮೊರ ಬೇಟು ದೂನು ದಂದ ನಾಲತೋ ಪ್ರೊದುಪೋವಲೇನ ದಂದ ನಾಲತೋ ಪ್ರೊದುಪೋವಲೇನ ದಂದ ನಾಲತೋ ಪ್ರೊದುಪೋವಲೇನ ದಂದ ನಾಲತೋ ಪ್ರೊದುಪೋವಲೇನ ದಾಳ ಜಾಲರ ತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜನ್ಮೂತ ತಾಳ ಜಾಲರ ತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜನೂತ ಚಲ ಮೇಲ ರಾಸಕೇತರಾಮ ಚಲ ಮೇಲ Thank you.
That was a very soothing, serene experience that we had. The rendition from Anusha Venkatraman in the Raga Marga Hindolam. Like I was saying, Marga Hindolam creates a very Karuna-oriented mode, and in this, Thyagaraja pleads with Lord Rama, saying that he has to bless him, and he calls him Saketa Rama. Saketa is another term for Ayodhya, so the kingdom where Lord Rama is from. So, as you can see, every ragam creates a very nice emotion, and the emotion helps enact a story. So, as I was telling, I'm going to give you 10 set of questions, and you can email the response, and the person with the maximum correct responses is going to get a small gift from us. So, you can learn Carnatic music through this. And the first question, as you can see, is a very simple one. Who is known as the father of Carnatic music? And what ragam did he formulate as the first scale taught to music students? So you can see the email in the slide, and you can just email to us with your response and your full name. Because as the session progresses, I'm going to give you 9 more questions, and if I need to know who responded, I need to know the same name again. So please respond with your full name and the question number and the answer to it. So yeah, let's learn a little more about Carnatic music as we progress. So the next performance is presented by Vaishnavi Kotamasu, and she's going to render a very popular kriti, Vinayaka, in Hamsadvani Ragam. And Sitama Mayama in the ragam Vasanta. So I'll tell you a bit more about Hamsadvini ragam when I get a chance. So now let's enjoy the performance.
Saji ga pa ni sa sa ni pa ga ri sa Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Vinayaka Chutaku Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Verevarunaru Vigna Raja Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Verevarunaru Vigna Raja Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Verevarunaru Vigna Raja Vinayaka Anata Rakshaka 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 Nive Kada Darinchi Nanu Brovarada Anata Rakshaka Nive Kada Darinchi Nanu Brovarada Vinayaka Ninu Vina Brochutaku Verevarunaru Vigna Raja Vinayaka Sarasiruharuna Yuta Charana Satatam Shritajana Sankataharana Sarasiruharuna Yuta Charana Satatam Shritajana Sankataharana Sarasiruharuna Yuta Charana Satatam Shritajana Sankataharana Paramakripa Sagara Paramakripa Sagara Paramakrupa Sagara Paramakrupa Sagara Paramakrupa Sagara Paramakrupa Sagara Paramakrupa Sagara Varasuguna Palita Jana Gopala Dasanuta Paramakrupa Sagara Varasuguna Palita Jana Gopala Dasanuta Vinayaka Ninu Vinabro Chutaku Verevarunaru Vignaraja Vinayaka Samagama Dani Sa Sanida Magari Sitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Masitamma Mayam Shri Ramudu Matandri Sitamma 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 Mayam Vatatmaja Saumitri Vatatmaja Saumitri Vatatmaja Saumitri Vainateya Ripumadana Vatatmaja Saumitri Vainateya Ripumadana Vatatmaja Saumitri Vainateya Ripumadana Data Bharatadulu Sodarulu Maku O Manasa Tata Bharatadulu Sodarulu Maku O Manasa Sitamma Mayam Shri Ramudu Matandri Sitamma Mayam Paramesha Vasishta Para Sharanarada परमेश वसिष्ठ परा शरणारद परमेश वसिष्ठ परा शरणारद